Okay, we call this Hezekiah's mural. The British Museum doesn't call it that. The reason why is because it mentions Hezekiah once again. Again, second corroboration for the King Hezekiah. No one's in doubt that he's historical. Now, it mentions that he comes back, he returns back a second time, and he comes around 200,000 men to destroy Jerusalem. Why? Because that's the last city of the tribe of Judah that he needs to destroy. It's where all the booty is. He comes, and then he suddenly goes home again. No reference to any city destroyed again. No reference to any king conquered. And more specifically, there's nothing referred to concerning any booty. You always want to have booty listed because that aggrandizes you. What's going on here? Why do you think there's no reference to the body?
They couldn't conquer it.
Guess what? And why did he not take the city? 200,000 men. He'd already destroyed all the other cities. Why could he not destroy Jerusalem? What went wrong? Let me get it.
Put a hook in his nose.
Put a hook in his nose. Is that a... Okay, there's something else happened. We're going to see it upstairs. The Babylonian Chronicles tells us that when he returns home to Nineveh, his two sons rise up and they kill him. Now the Bible also says that as well. But that's fascinating that an extra biblical account refers to his two sons rising up and killing. Why would you kill a conquering king? Why would you kill a king who's at the height of his power, as we now know, because of what we're going to see in just about 10 minutes? Unless something terrible happened in Jerusalem. What do you think happened in Jerusalem? Who knows? 2 Kings chapter 19. Absolutely. There's the answer. In 2 Kings 19, what happened?
The angel of the Lord.
Yeah. Absolutely right. The angel of the Lord came down and killed 185,000 of his men overnight. Now put yourself in Sennacherib's place. He's come all the 100 miles, quite a few hundred miles down to Jerusalem. He sets up his tent, goes to sleep that night. He's been traveling all day, sleeps right through the night, wakes up the next morning, stretches, washes his face, opens up some tent to the flaps of his tent, and what does he see? 185,000 of his men decimated on the ground. He heard no battle, he heard no screams of pain, there was no clanking of swords, there's no enemy soldiers, there's no blood anywhere. All he says are all these 185,000 of his soldiers lay dead on the ground. What would you do in his place?
Run.
You'd go home. What would happen when you get home? And then relatives of the 185,000 men want to know what happened. What do you think you're going to do? How are you going to explain what has happened to their men? You've got a problem, don't you?
Yeah.
Can you now understand why his two sons rose up and killed him? But why doesn't that say that down here? Why is there nothing here? For one very good reason. Do they ever talk about defeat? Is there any reference to any defeat in any of these artifacts? Kings don't talk about defeat. Just like politicians don't talk about defeat. You don't find any politician ever admitting that maybe he should not have gone to war. Now, for that reason, you can see there is a problem here. So what are we going to do? If you're a historian, this is all you have to go on, right?
Wrong.
As a historian, you're not going to accept anything but what you read here. And you're not going to come back to the Bible, because if you come back to the Bible, which tells you the rest of the story, and tells you what actually went on, you're going to have to accept two premises. First and foremost, you're going to have to accept that there's a God. And secondly, you're going to have to accept that that God enters time and space and impacts on human history. Can you see why the historians do not want to believe the biblical account? Because it's too much for them to accept that God can do this. You can accept it. We can accept it. We have no problem with what the Bible says. We now know the whole story, but we still need this artifact. We still need this mural. Why? Because this puts it in history. This places it in a time frame, a place, an event, and it gives the people that were happened who it happened to. That's why you need both the artifacts and the Bible so that we get the entire story. Good stuff, isn't it?